Yes, we're talking about Final Fantasy 13 again, and actually, this is going to be the last time I talk about this fucking game until I get back to my Let's Play. Well, I'm sure I'm going to be shocked and despaired when it reveals something bullshit in a storyline. I mean, Jesus. Reason I'm just doing this is because certain people will have comments, etc. And one person calling it an excellent game, and you know, that just left me shocked, and I'm just like, seriously, excellent. So you mean like other games like, oh, I don't know, Persona 4, other JRPGs are just absolute shit? Oh, actually, JRPGs have not been good for a while, so only Persona 4 was the only good JRPG. I'm starting, Japanese RPG in a long while, and actually probably one of the best RPGs in general to come out in a while. Well, that's not true, those are Dragon Age Origins, but yeah, again, I think that usually kind of depends on taste on games like mythology, sort of fantasy kind of thing, Dungeons and Dragons. But I'm just going to clean up my arguments from the last time, because my last time the arguments weren't really that good, and of course I know what I wanted to say, but I know what I was talking about, but yeah, again, I was saying the wrong things, like how it's linear. Okay, just to let you know, what do I think of an RPG should be, or what should it concentrate on when it's become an RPG? I think the story takes the top, which I think the story should be concentrated in a lot more than anything. The story is the most important thing in an RPG. If the story fails, your saving grace has to be the gameplay. But yet again, I don't know why you would play an RPG with a terrible story, because the point of playing an RPG is to roleplay in a fucking fantasy world. That's the point of it. At least that's what I believe anyway. And if it fails to deliver the story, why would you continue with the game? I just don't understand it, because the story is the driving force of the RPG and nothing else. I wouldn't say gameplay would be the driving force, no, unless it brought up an interesting character sort of level up system where you could devise your character to be a certain class or your own type of class. Probably kind of like Oblivion. Now, first thing I want to say is about the linearity. RPGs are linear. I mean, when I was talking about linearity, I didn't mean it that sort of way, but yeah, RPGs are linear. To Fallout, to Dragon Age, to Mass Effect, and even to like my favorite, Persona 4, it's linear. But yeah, again, you are telling a story, so it would be linear. You're not going to tell it in random order. Well, maybe in Dragon Age, but I don't know. Well, Dragon Age does have a main story, but it branches out in different paths, into which a lot of them are part of the main story, except for those parts that got their own little story in them. So it says the problem with Final Fantasy 13 is it's given me. Let me just say this: artistically and technical design, it's really good. I mean, it's amazing. But if you make your world feel like a corridor, you've got problems. I mean, I can't be immersed in a corridor. I want to be immersed in the world, but no, Final Fantasy 13 doesn't really allow this, which that's part of the story, but I will tell you that later. It is really bad when you feel like you're running around a corridor and that's it, and there's no really true branching levels. Even if it is a dead end, it doesn't really take you anywhere to explore. That's the point of an RPG. You explore, and it doesn't really let you explore. It gives you some branching paths, or at least they're only like 20 foot long, or they're either blocked off by rubble. And seriously, the last time I seen games like this were were actually were actually like bad PlayStation 1 or Nintendo 64 games. I know I just called the game good design, but I mean good design in an artistic sort of way, not gameplay wise. I mean, I've not seen level design this bad since the PlayStation 1 era, or probably the early PlayStation 2 games. Yeah, that's how bad it is. I mean, if you've not seen any of them, seriously, it's unimaginable then. I mean, I can't talk much more about the level design, it's a corridor and that's it. How can you have fun in a corridor? You can only move forward and you can't explore. Jesus. And I'm just going to talk about the weapons upgrade now. The weapons upgrade. I don't see the point in it. Why do I need this weapon upgrade? Why do I need to level up my weapons? You know, I have been leveling up my weapons, but the reason is this: if you level up your weapons, your accessories and your other things, I think it's just accessories and weapons. And the point is that you max them out and you dismantle them and you put them in another weapon. And I'm kind of like, why? Why would I do that? I know they're saying you get the best resources from these things, but I'm kind of like, why? Why would I destroy my most powerful weapon just to go back on a weak weapon and level it up? That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I actually don't understand why they couldn't just, if you find a better sword, use that sword, or you can use augment, and you can augment it in a way, like rune stones or whatever, and just like give it stat. You could just put in customizable status effects in them. I mean, why can't you just do that? It makes sense, and just leveling up the weapons doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to destroy my weapons. I'm not going to destroy my weapons for anything. Even if it is to level up another sword, which is already not as powerful as the sword I'm holding in my hand. I mean, Jesus. And also, there's not much to talk about the weapons leveling up, because that's it. Why would you do it? Why would you use it? And don't say, as I already said, to get better resources, because that's complete bull. And I'm not going to do it. No one should really do it. I actually don't know why you can just, as I already said, I don't know why you can just find weapons or buy weapons. And that's another problem with this game. To make a game even less immersive, why can't you not buy weapons anymore? I know you're saying, yes you can, but that's from a fucking save point, not from a store. I mean, why not a store? Why? I don't understand it. Oh wait, the game has a keeper's corridor. I forgot. And there's a leveling up. I don't know why Square Enix, or Final Fantasy in general, has this huge problem with leveling up. I think ever since 10, it has this huge problem with leveling up. It just doesn't... It doesn't really do it very well. I mean, Jesus. I mean, the spear grid in 10 wasn't that great, but at least that gives your characters personality when they're in battle. They had their own class and their own style. Now, I'll get back to that in a minute. Just the leveling up in Final Fantasy 13. You use crystal points to level up in this sort of tree. There's somewhat of a... It's supposed to be like a tree design leveling up sort of thing. But yeah, again, it doesn't lead you to different... It doesn't actually lead you to different routes where you could get different powers. Actually, it does, but... It only leads like one or two way. It only leads like a one way, and there's a dead end, and you have to go back and continue on the main route. You know, funny enough, that also feels like a fucking corridor in itself. I mean, Jesus Christ. But funny enough, the leveling up has got more branching paths than the fucking main game. Or the level design. Oh dear God. Some reason Final Fantasy makes it out like, oh, you can level it up this class and you can do whatever you want with it. And no, you can't. You can only go one way and one way only. You don't really level them up in any way. You don't make them feel unique. They actually feel really boring. And everyone's got the same skill set anyway. So everyone's gonna be the same. Everyone is going to feel the same anyway. Well, not always, because I never used Hope to be my commando. I mean, who the hell does? Why the hell would Hope be a commando? That's another thing. You know, I'm leveling up my mage class, the Ravager, and why has it got strength spheres in them, or strength ball things? Why? The mage doesn't use his fucking muscles. He uses his brains. He fires fucking lightning bolts. He's not going to use his boomerang. He's not going to use his strength unless he's an arcane warrior. But Final Fantasy X doesn't really give you the choice of melding two jobs together to give you a unique class, which once again I kind of wondered why. You know, a lot of games give you a choice of how you want to develop your class and what skill set you want to, what sort of skill set in that class you want to focus on. You know, do you want to focus on double swords, or maybe you want to focus on swords and shields, or maybe you just want to focus on bow and arrow, or maybe you want to split up. Like you can just focus on double swords but no movesets, and focus more on the bow and arrow. And there's just nothing in this. I actually kind of wondered why they couldn't just put in a traditional level up system and that's it. You know, like, oh, you reached level 2, you reached level 3, instead of making me do this busy work of leveling up, making me do it instead. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's really bad. But what else is there was terrible? I think actually in the actual combat in itself, it's actually really boring. It looks spectacular, but it's really boring. They say you can't really control your party. You only can control one member of your party, the leader. And the other two are controlled by the AI, which, I've got to say this, the AI does a shit job in controlling your party members. Or when in the battling system, I don't know why it gives you the option to auto-battle. And it just feels like you're an autopilot. And why would you use auto-battle? It actually doesn't really work very well. And as a couple of people mentioned already, it doesn't really give you the best movesets or what you're going to use against certain enemies and keep the rhythm up. This game, it says the battle system is all show and no go. It's actually got very little substance to it, very little strategy. And don't say, oh, just use your jobs to change the strategy around. And you know what? Changing over to the jobs mostly what gets you killed. Because here's what I don't understand in a logical sense. Why do you need to sort of wave your hands around and have this colour come up all around you when you change jobs? You don't see that. You don't see an office worker becoming, a car manufacturer. Oh my god, I must change my job. And there you go. And actually, it takes fucking precious time away from you. Why can't you just select what job you want and that's it? It's selected. You don't have to. It doesn't have to do the stupid pose thing where yes, I've changed. And that's what mostly can get you killed if you don't time it right. And it just feels like a waste and also very unnecessary to have that sort of thing. Especially when the AI's behaviour doesn't change with the fucking job. I mean,